I wanted to pass on all of the things that I've learned, whether it's through the successes, the things that I've done well in, or whether it is through the failures in this book. If you knew that it took you 150 more failures to get to the quote unquote success, how fast would you fail? For me, I was never really afraid of failure because I failed so much as a child. Now think about that. There's something within you that is attracting every single circumstance in your life. In this book, the funny thing is when I first set out to write this book, I didn't actually have a clue why I was writing it. It was actually a completely different title. It was a completely different message. And I realized that I wasn't writing this book, but this book was writing me. And so you're like, how the heck? The only way you're going to find out how is read the book. All of these things are subconscious programs that are playing out in our adult life. And if you don't deal with them, you will continue to repeat them in every other area of your life. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast, episode dos. I'm really excited to be here. If this is your first time watching this, if you haven't watched episode 1, obviously, definitely watch that because I go into the background behind this whole movement. And the reason why I say movement is because it's not simply just a product. It's more a philosophy in a way of life. And so my philosophy in life has always been about freedom. I've always wanted to be free. As a kid growing up, just like you, I wasn't that kid that wanted to sit down and sit still and just listen and do what I was told. I truly wanted to be free of choice and thought and be able to be truly myself. And I quickly realized that the system when I was growing up wasn't created for that. It wasn't created for innovators and thinkers that had a vision that was greater. It was really created so we could have a nation of workers. And Rockefeller, you can look into this, created the curriculum. You know, he wanted a nation of workers, not thinkers. And so I'm here to question and to challenge your thinking of what you truly want in your life. And that looks different for every single person. It looks different for the person that is a teacher. It looks different for the person that is a nurse or that has a business or is just simply a stay-at-home mother. So it's like, what is it that you truly want? And what does that look like? For me, it was freedom. And, you know, for a long time, if you don't know, I've been an entrepreneur for almost now 13 years. I was in the car business. That was my first big thing that I was actually, I did other things as a kid, sold things, but got into the car business, was buying cars in the US and sending them off to places like Dubai before it became Dubai. Started sending cars to Saudi Arabia before it became Saudi. It was like they were just starting. And Africa, like in Nigeria, the Dominican Republic, Cambodia. So, at the age of 18, I hit my first 6 figures, and I thought that was it. I thought that was what I was really looking for, because that's what I was told, on TV is like, you just need to make a lot of money. But what I quickly realized after about a year and a half of doing that was I was working 80 hours a week. Was working 80 hours a week, driving all around the US, maybe sometimes even 100 hours. There have been times where I'm literally driving for 2 days straight, sleeping in the car for a couple of minutes here and there, and trying to make it to my destination, almost falling asleep at the wheel. It was crazy. It was interesting. It was exactly what I needed, but it was wild. I was giving up my health, right? At one point I was extremely healthy, and then I just gave it all up because I was drinking 3-4 Red Bulls a day, smoking a pack of cigarettes, taking Vyvanse. I remember getting prescribed from the doctor, I'm ADHD, and he was like, here you go, like here's some legal methamphetamines for you. Your brain hasn't fully developed, but here you go. And I'm taking this and I'm driving for 2-3 days at a time, and I just remember I'm making this money. It was pretty great at the time, especially as an 18, back. I'm 31 right now, and at 18, which was over 13 years. It's been 13 years. 6 figures was pretty good money at that time. And so I felt like, I was doing good, but I truly didn't feel at peace. And so the freedom blueprint and this whole vision is about full spectrum freedom. It's about having the inner peace, standing in your genius, in your zone of genius, doing exactly what you're meant to do. 2, the financials, where you can actually just set up businesses that are automated that will give you financial freedom. Now, I'm not just saying, you're going to become a millionaire, but there are ways where you can actually invest money, business funding, to make you money that's hands-free. I mean, there's so many examples, whether it's e-commerce automation, whether it is ATMs, whether it's automated laundromats, or whether it is real estate, Airbnb, Turo. There are so many ways now that you can actually win, and at least the financials, right? And so that's 2. Now 3 is the location freedom. So being able to be anywhere in the world because you're not limited by, being at a job or being in your business, right? Because a lot of times we're in our business, but we're not allowing the business to actually work for us. We don't have leverage. That's when I was in the car business, I had zero leverage. The most leverage that I had was hiring some people that would tow my truck to the port. That's about as much leverage, and that wasn't much because I'd have to dig into my profits. So being able to go anywhere, like right now, I've been really busy just getting things ready. We just actually released the soft cover and the hard cover of the Freedom Blueprint book. Now, this is actually the first book I'm writing, and this is going over the internals, the subconscious rewiring, because if you were in a family that had certain beliefs, science has now proven that epigenetics, which is the DNA of your family, is literally passed down. But what epigenetics has now confirmed is that you can actually shift your DNA by how you feel. So I figured out a way to actually get to the root cause of all causes that create all of these symptoms in your life and get rid of it. And I put the story of how I came to that in this book. And so this book is crazy. I've had a lot of people reach out and say that it's truly transformed how they think and feel, because it's not just this book isn't about me, it's more about you. And I've just gone through a lot of things, and I've put those failures inside of this book for other people like yourself to gain from. I actually heard this today. It was interesting. I'm all over the place, but I heard if you knew that it took you 150 more failures to get to the quote unquote success, how fast would you fail? And for me, I was never really afraid of failure because I failed so much as a child, mainly because I didn't try, and I think subconsciously I just knew that the system wasn't for me, so I just didn't care, or maybe God was protecting me by a multitude of ways. But I wrote this because I wanted to pass on all of the things that I've learned, whether it's through the successes, the things that I've done well in, or whether it is through the failures, which I've had a lot. In this book, I talk about how I went through a divorce. I was married to a woman that I thought was someone I was going to spend the rest of my life with, but I found out that she was the biggest mirror for me in seeing what I was doing to create this chaotic relationship, because it takes two to tango, and there's something within you that is attracting every single situation and circumstance in your life. Now think about that. What did I just say? There's something within you that is attracting every single circumstance in your life. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the exact same frequency, but I was married to a woman that was highly, highly abusive. Literally in this book, I talk about how she pulled out a knife on me and threw a boiling pot of water. And so it wasn't just because of who she was, it was also because of what she went through. And I have a lot of compassion for that and what I had went through, and these patterns that we repeat in our lives, whether it's in our finances because we heard our parents arguing about money, or whether we heard them fighting with one another, or how we are supposed to interact in the world. All of these things are subconscious programs that are playing out in our adult life. And if you don't deal with them, you will continue to repeat them in every other area of your life. And so I go through this and I talk about this in this book. And the funny thing is when I first set out to write this book, I didn't actually have a clue why I was writing it. It was actually a completely different title. It was a completely different message. Much more focus on the financials and the freedom to travel. And I realized that I wasn't writing this book, but this book was writing me. After I set out to write it, over the last 2 years, I went through some crazy stuff with the divorce. I went to jail in a foreign country, went through near-death experiences. They literally told me that I would have to pay $50,000 or get the death penalty. I would end up going to the hospital, black magic. But all throughout all of that, what I realized is that I was creating all of it. I was creating it all. And so you're like, how the heck? The only way you're going to find out how is read the book. Okay, just read the book. I go through how I was responsible for all of the crazy things in my life. And when I realized that, I realized if I can create all of this chaos, then I can create pure bliss and a magical life. And shortly after going through all that stuff, I ended up last year traveling to over 39 countries, earning $500,000 while only working a tenth of the year. Maybe if you added up all the hours, it'd be less than 30 days. So I figured some things out through my mentors. I've been blessed to have a lot of beautiful, amazing mentors that have just amazing lives and relationships and, a lot of success in their life and through trial and error. And so my goal is to help you to not have to go through all that stuff. I went through it to really save you time and energy. And the thing is I can't force you to take this information. So, if you're here and you're still watching, I'm assuming that you have an open mind to at least hear me out. And maybe one thing that you get will completely shift the way that you move in your life. And, it's a beautiful reminder, because I think maybe you're watching this and you're going through a difficult time. Maybe you're going through a breakup. Maybe your business isn't scaling as fast as you want. Maybe you're behind on your rent. Maybe you just got laid off. Just know that this test is going to help you with your testimonial, your testimony. And everything that you go through is there to help you mold into the person you have always been. But, over time, what happens is you, as an innocent, beautiful baby that came onto earth, you were conditioned by family, society, music, religion, or the dogma, I should say, all of these factors that made you dim your light and forget who you truly are. And so all of the craziness is helping you break down, because every breakdown is a breakthrough to the next level, the next level of who you've always been. But there are all of these walls, or all of these things that are keeping you from accessing this true version of you. You don't have to become someone new. This is what personal development tries to tell you, is that you need to become someone new. I don't believe that. I think we all have our genius. That is a gift. It's a gift. And so God gave us all a gift. Whatever you believe in, just know that the ultimate creator gave you a gift, and your job is to use that gift and not forget about that gift. Because, for example, let's say I had kids and they kept on asking me for a gift, and I end up buying them this gift. And a couple of weeks later, I ask them where it is, and they have no clue where it is. I'm going to be pretty upset, because this gift that I got you, you just forgot about it. So the only thing you really need to do to find this gift is to clean up everything that you're not. And a lot of the times we're just not willing to look within. And so my challenge is to look within you and yourself, and figure out what your gift is and how you can give it to the world, because it's not for you, it's actually for the world. So I'm excited to see all of the people that are part of this movement. We've had amazing testimonials. I mean, it's crazy. Like last week, I had a friend. We had been working together for quite a while. Her name is Sue. She's living out in Hawaii. I actually met her whenever I was living in Hawaii a couple years ago, and she had been trading Forex for about 10 years. So after going through this whole process, reading the book and going through this process that we have, she said that she had a crazy experience. She said that her third eye, basically this energy center right here, and her gut right here, the solar plexus, where your worth and your clarity are derived from, had opened up. And she said that she had a big breakthrough in her trading. She had her biggest trading day ever. She profited in one day $3,000. And she said that her clarity, her intuition is absolutely so clear. And that her exact words was that it was all thanks to the Freedom Blueprint. So I look forward to seeing all of the testimonials and all the people that are completely shifting back into who they truly are, remembering who they truly are, and standing in their gifts. And when I say gifts, I don't think that you don't have to work at it. You still put in the work, but it's something that comes natural that it's very hard for other people to do. So I'm excited to uncover, and the mission is so much bigger. We want to help people. We actually have a whole side to what we're creating, where we want to go and give back to other people. Right now with Iran and Israel, there's a lot of craziness and a lot of innocent people that are going to get hurt as a result. And so as the world gets crazier and crazier, we have to do things that help impact the world in a better way. So we want to actually, as a community, come together, take our resources, and go and start to build homes and wells and give back. We're actually working with one of our partners, wants to create a decentralized application specifically for financial and spiritual development for children. So we have some really amazing things. We're looking for other people that have a big vision, that want to help the world become a better place. And we have plenty of space. So I would love to connect with you. If you're watching this, shoot me a message. Let's talk. Let me support you so you can support us in our overarching goal in making the world a better place. So thank you so much for watching this episode. We'll see you next time on the Freedom Blueprint. And if you want to get a copy of the book, I'll link it in the description below. It'll be very supportive to us in our mission, and I hope that it can support you in your life. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.